Sridhar. Sridhar is sambar. Okay, sambar. Madrasi lemon rice. Okay. This is dal fry. Dal fry. This is sambar. From? Sponsored by? Sponsored by Nita. How was the achar, Anita? Anita? How is the achar? Oh, okay. What are you eating? What is that? Tiki? What is that? Sorry, oh my God. That's good. JK, तेरे को क्या हुआ ये?
This is a villain daddy.
This is for Sindhu.
Mallu Don in San Francisco.
Ayyo.
San Francisco. Ayyo.
Okay.
You see the Hayward, eh? What did you say? The other song was
Like this one? This? Sorry? Oh. Sorry? You?
I'm eating free. From this side.
What is that? Wow.
Mangaluru Ganesha Birigal. मणिरत्नम जैसे थोड़ा इम्पैक्ट ही नहीं आ रहा.
इम्पैक्ट आ गया. अभी तेरे को मालूम चलेगा जब देखेगा. समझा? ये तो बीड़ी बीड़ी का तो पीना शुरू किया भाई.
We have two parties. One only you and only men. Pankaj. Only men in my house.
That's it. Yes. ये कौन?
Doesn't he? There is some kind of. My dad not.
That will do. No problem. You can start with that. Please do.
Oh, mommy and daddy are going to play a song over here. Pop.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, McDonald's has a fun. Yeah. And on his funny hat. Go. This time there was a what? With a bow here and a bow there. Yeah, the bow there. Hey, there.
Say that again.
No.
Here and the song there. Here and there. Somebody over there. Okay, no problem. Come here. Yeah, we'll get some. Up above.
Monster high, like a diamond in
In
the
the
sky.
sky. Well done. Okay, try. Yes, hurry and sing a song.
The cat in the bed and the little set.
You don't talk. You talk.
And the young one went once out after 9 in the bed, and the little one said, roll over, so they all rolled over, and once out, there was 8 in the bed, and the little one said, roll over. But you have to sing. So I couldn't do it.
Good.
Sing.
What happened to you?
Okay. You want to sing a song? Okay.
What?
Okay, which is the song? इसको मान नहीं रहना गाना इसलिए.
This is real acting, okay?
Okay, which is Kitty will better. Okay.
I don't know her.
You can do better.
You can.
This is stump you make. For cricket man, stump.
Yes.
Right to some travels the ground. That's correct. Super music.
ಸನಜಾತಿ ಪಾಡಕ ಮಂಜ ಕಾಡ ಪಾಡಕ ಸನಗಾಲಿ ಪಾಡಕ ಮಾಟವಿನ ಕುಂದಿ ಎಂದು ಸನಜಾತಿ ಪಾಡಕ ಮಂಜ ಕಾಡ ಪಾಡಕ ಸನಗಾಲಿ ಪಾಡಕ మాటవిన కుంది ఎందుకే మనసులో ప్రేమే ఉంది మరువని మాటే ఉంది మాయని ఊసే పొంగే పాటై రావే తన జాతి పాడక మంచ కాడ పాడక సనగాలి పాడక మాట వినకుంది ఎందుకే
Oh, over, huh? Tali.
Super song, boss. Super.
This is a long day. Mine is long.
No. No, that Dikre she will sing.
Tikde ke baad, tikde.
Not like that.
Oh, no, no.
Okay, you sing that Urvasi.
No, Urvasi.
Dekha.
है ये जानता ही नहीं ओ दिल है कि मानता नहीं
Ah, super.
दिल तो ये चाहे हर पल तुम्हें हम बस यूं ही देखा करें मर के भी हम ना तुमसे जुदा हो आओ कुछ ऐसा करे मुझ में समा जा
Hey,
Hey, Sambar.
hey, what is this, huh?
Super. Continue.
Please continue.
आपास आजा हमदम मेरे हम नशी ओ दिल है कि मानता नहीं तेरी वफाएं तेरी मोहब्बत सब कुछ है मेरे लिए तूने दिया है नजराना दिल का हम तो है बस तेरे लिए
अरे super.
मुझ में
शाबाश।
समा जा पास आजा हमदम मेरे हम नहीं ओ दिल है कि और शेर आ जाए That's all I
Hey, actually, I got a camera sound. Pull down. I'll do it on Monday.
Can I have Coke? Can I have Coke? Huh? Good night.
Chiranjeevi and Juice are.
Anybody got Coke or juice? इसको ले बोलो.
No, smile मत देना. हम sambar and gold and marka pav and thakur and everybody. Gati. Hey, God, how is it? He's singing. He's going to sing, right? Oh, he's good. Okay, so okay, throw this place.
क्या? You know.
Other side.
चल अभी गाने गा. बहुत हो गया.
I don't know that. तू क्या गाने में?
नहीं,
तू गोल्ड में गाना.
So his parents were there. That's why he could see all that.
Before marriage?
Before marriage.
Oh, how can he ask me like that?
Because his parents are there, no?
But
His
they were not married.
parents are her grandparents.
Sorry?
His parents are her grandparents, so she has to do it.
Shinu's place. Some party finally Shinu called us. So the Shinu's house. 610. There's a big monster. Hey, hello Shinu.
Come on.
Hey. अरे क्या अभी आवाज बंद हो गई एकदम बोलने का कुछ
बिरयानी.
ओके
Curry. Where is the curry?
ये ऑरेंज जूस है क्या
Is it mine?
New dress, looks like Anna. Anna said, there is a samurai.
Arey samurai इसका. This is Rajesh.
This is Rajesh, okay.
Okay. The guy with the San Francisco T-shirt is Hemant.
Old roommate.
Yeah, my ex-roommate. And this nerdy, darky-looking guy is Pranav.
Okay. Hi Pranav.
South San Francisco. No, that's probably one such airport. No. Airport must be the...
They are fighting over something which is not there in that direction. There's a fantastic food today. क्या क्या बनाया अनिता जी आपने? Can you please throw some light on that? What is what? What is that?
This is Michi Kasana.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about this.
This cutlets.
Cutlets, okay.
Supposed to be cutlets.
Okay. Hey, this is dal. This is rasam.
This is capsicum, jangiri made.
Okay. This is Banjali. Okay.
And this is aloo ki tahri.
Aloo ki? Say again.
Aloo ki tahri.
What is that?
Supposed to be that. This is rice.
Okay.
Aloo palav rahe.
Aloo pulao rice. Okay.
Today so Vishal, come to San Francisco City. We are going towards Bay Bridge.
Being shot by Pankaj.
सावन में जब तैमूर
सिर्फ से वो रेडियो बंद किया तो तेरी कमेंट्री चलेगी.
कुछ इसके ऊपर प्रकाश डालेंगे आप?
1923 में जब यहाँ पर युद्ध हुआ था,
हाँ जी.
नॉर्थ कोरिया ने जब यहाँ पे न्यूक्लियर बम डाला तो वो लाल और सफेद कलर का एक वो पिलर बना है.
हाँ
वो
वो.
यहाँ पे जितने लोग मरे थे उनका मेमोरियल है.
Oh, I see. It's so beautiful, isn't it?
ओह इट्स ऑसम.
You have to pay this toll here.
ये दान दक्षिणा करने के लिए, जैसे ब्राह्मण लोग हैं.
अच्छा.
This is not the golden grade.
No.
Reading the earthquake in 89,
Yeah.
this lower deck, the upper deck fell down. The upper deck fell down on the lower deck.
It was. If it's not possible, forget about it. This is Golden Gate.
No.
Still not.
Golden Gate is Golden Gate.
hi. Rajiv, say hi.
You take.
Oh, is it? Oh, yes. How do you know?
Well, I've been there before.
What is that high-tech building? Victorian architecture. Nice architecture. City Hall.
This is San Francisco City Hall. That's where Willie Brown, the mayor, sits. And there is the great seal. See all of what they do here. You need a helping hand. Embarrassed and homeless. Please, God bless. Don't hate. How can this guy not get a job at least?
Park. Charles. I don't know what is the process they call it.
Really? Oh, man.
The Golden Gate Bridge Square. Vishal, what is the diameter?
2 feet.
36 inches.
Villas. कितने villas? एक
Inches.
What? What?
Total I use 80,000 miles. I don't.
Why would the new?
And you get a full view now. How it looks like. And here you see the Golden Gate.
दिखा के नहीं?
नहीं.
कौन सा है? वो वाला नहीं, वो वाला.
Of downtown San Francisco from the Golden Gate Bridge parking lot. Rajiv and his wife.
Hi, Chicago.
And this is Golden Gate Bridge. You can feel the vibrations, boss. This?
In Saturday fever, this guy tries to jump. And he tries to jump from the top.
Under the Golden Gate Bridge.
तो आप वहाँ माउंटेन में लेना.
The other end of Golden Gate Bridge. You from the other side.
See, and you wanted to take a picture of those cars. This is so serene.
cooler yet, and into the weekend we'll see temperatures rise to just a little bit.
Your brothers, man. Brothers.
From home. To my room, and I'll take a journey inside the room after a while. See you later. Bye bye.
तो ये कहना चाहते हैं कि सुबह से आप बर्तन धोते हैं, फिर उसके बाद थोड़ी देर के बाद चाय भी बनाने वाला है, तो उसके लिए चाय
प्री प्लान
हाँ सिर्फ प्री प्लान, लुक्स लाइक प्री प्लान।
बर्तन देखा
काफी तो बर्तन है, लगता है कल रात को और सुबह में धोए नहीं है। नहीं तो thankful.
Morning everybody. Pankaj. Time for me to go to office and
come back at around 5 o'clock every day. So 8 to 5 is our office timing. We have to go in our formal dresses in office, which is fine, independent. We have to carry our lunch with us. Because the lunch time is very small, it's around 45 to 50 minutes. But we are used to come home for lunch. From late to we carry our lunch or sometimes we go home. Our office for lunch.
I'm not sure which area usually snores, but
Because when the coaches grab,
As the rut continues, it appears that have a good chance of success. Once the antelope of the kings, the black buck owe their past to the Maharajas. But they owe their future to the Gujarati people with whom they share this hidden world.
Lincoln, what a luxury car should be.
The car. We've gone through the good times.
Thrilling.
We've gone through the bad times. But it's a dream that just won't die. Tonight, America's love affair with the car gets a real road test.
The American auto industry's been to war, and it has won.
No gas, no gas.
I hope that when my car dies, that the auto age will be over.
Funding is provided by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.
Dream about. In the film The Shooter, the Hollywood stuntman doubles for Dolph Lundgren, speeding across the rain-slicked cobblestones of Prague, just steering clear of those pedestrians before shifting into high gear for a final landing.
a lot of heavy delays in that area. For now, though, no accidents anywhere in Orange County or...
But in real life, Brent Fletcher's going nowhere in a hurry, just like the rest of the crowd on the L.A. freeway. Plenty of time to sit back, relax, and consider a love affair that survived a lot worse than a little traffic over the past 30 years.
People caress their cars. You know, they rub them down. They give them names.
We're the fastest car. Is it fast enough so we can fly away?
Your driver's license is your ID. That's your mark of identity. Let's see your driver's license.
What you drive tells people not only who you are, but who you want to be.
So remember when we were driving in your car. Speed so fast, I felt like I was drunk.
The car is the best room in the house. For some people, the teenage daughter, it may be the only phone that they have access to.
It not only shapes the structure of everyday life, the automobile shapes our imaginations, shapes the way we think about the world.
35 years ago, the key to a car and a tank of gas were your ticket to the paradise located just off the freshly paved superhighway. Americans had big houses, big cars, and big plans.
Our abundance is big and comes from bigness. The bigness of our busy business. The bigness of our people. The bigness of our fast-moving, modern America. Our bigness.
The biggest bang for the buck is what they were looking for, and we got really large. I think the Europeans used to call our cars yank tanks.
Plenty of room for everything and everybody.
When you go on
with the right car, life was a race. Anyone could win.
Independence will call you sir instead of buddy. The Ford car lots will seem more or less safer.
It was about this time that Marshall McLuhan called advertising the cave art of the 20th century. An anthropologist sifting through these remains will discover that the automobile was a magical object. It could transform an ordinary existence into something else altogether.
Don't just dream about California, drive it. Drive the new Buick California GS.
The road was wide open. We were way out in front. And if you moved fast enough, you might just grab a piece of that dream yourself.
Chevrolet stands alone in 64.
Being a Chevrolet dealer in the early 60s, well, it was great.
Here's where they made the magic. With auto work generating 1 out of every 7 jobs in the nation, Detroit truly was the engine of the American economy, steered by an all-powerful triumvirate known as the Big Three.
It was wonderful to be a GM employee in the early 1960s.
Things happened. It had the pride of an industrial city. It wasn't a financial capital, but Detroit hardly cared. What Detroit knew how to do is make things, and not just make anything. It made the automobile. This was the center of the universe when it came to the auto industry.
Harley Shaken grew up in the Motor City and got his start as a machinist on the line.
When I lived here, I was an apprentice, working on the journeyman's hard at General Motors. This here was my neighbor's house. He worked at Chrysler right across the street in their machining plant. You know, in San Francisco, you have bay views, and in Boston, you have river view, and in Detroit, you have plant views. Of course, the one advantage was you didn't have to pay extra to live across the street from the plant. That's an abandoned plant there, one of many that kind of litter Detroit. Here is the old Packard plant. It was built in 1907. The plant didn't survive, the company didn't even survive, but they had a sense that it would be around forever. It's engraved in stone, and the name on the building survived.
One of Detroit's biggest tourist attractions was Henry Ford's masterpiece, the River Rouge plant, where Shaken's grandfather worked along with almost 100,000 other men and women in its heyday. Visitors came from all over the world to see freshly made steel stamped into shiny new fenders and sent down an assembly line which stretched for 27 miles. Along the way, they were joined with glass and tires, also produced at the plant. 33 hours from raw material to cash.
When I first got on that assembly line, I used to dream about that thing. I really did. I would get home, and you know, I'd be asleep, and you could still feel that line moving.
Lynette's luckier than most. She's been granted a reprieve from the line. Now she spends her time the envy of the nation.
This is the way it's going to be, baby. Muscular. How do you feel powerful and strong? How do you feel like a man? Well, you get out on the road with one of these powerful machines, and you put your foot to the floor, and it slams you to the back of your seat, and you get this literal physical sort of sexual rush from it, and it's a great thrill.
Little GTO, you're really looking fine. 3 deuces and a 4-speed and a 389.
Pontiac's GTO was closely followed by a generation of macho muscle cars.
Camaro, the driving machine that's something else.
She's real fine, my 409.
Powered by the most ferocious engines around, a kid could prove himself behind the wheel, and with some luck survive to attend school the next day.
I took my Cobra down to the track, hitched to the back of my Cadillac.
It's about speed, power, and the raw thrill of driving a car that has almost unlimited horsepower. What automobile fanatic has not wanted to own a Cobra?
Bob Lutz is the president of the Chrysler Corporation and an avid auto collector. He's been the driving force behind an all-new muscle car called the Viper.
It's sort of the
vehicular equivalent of having unlimited money and you can just sign checks all day, rip them out, and never have to worry about your bank balance. That's the way it is with the power in this thing. Needless to say, it becomes very difficult to obey all of the nation's speed laws in this.
The car that I did bond with coming up was the 67 Mustang. I love that. I love that car. But look at here.
I bought you a brand new Mustang.
When the Mustang made its debut at the New York World's Fair in 1964, it muscled its way onto the covers of both Time and Newsweek on the same day. The most exciting news in the nation. Boys offered to wash the car for dealers just to get a chance to touch it.
I was on a very small team that designed that car, and there was nothing like it on the road. Everyone wanted a sporty car, but sports cars, of course, were very expensive, and most of them were two-seaters, and they were very impractical. Nobody had done a car like that. At the right price, an affordable, exciting, sporty car.
Do that one more time. All you wanna do is ride around the valley.
At just under $3,000 for a basic model, the pony car sold like hotcakes and made its hard-driving promoter a household name.
Everybody always asks how mysterious this auto business is.
The big three were so busy coasting on their success in the 1960s, they weren't watching the road. A number of unforeseen curves just up ahead would sorely test their confidence and America's unquestioning love affair with the car. The first challenge came from a most unlikely source.
Even today, when somebody brings up the Bug, the Beetle, the VW, a smile comes to their faces. I don't know how many products in the history of time can evoke that kind of response.
Back in the 1960s, Roy Grace produced a series of groundbreaking commercials for an unpretentious little automobile which mocked Detroit's dream machines.
We used to say, when they zig, we zag. Detroit every year had new car ads. Longer, lower, wider. And that was a wonderful thing to bounce off.
Beautiful, wonderful new world of Ford.
You know, their millions and millions of dollars of advertising saying change, change, change helped ours saying we never change really work. We were just obviously trying to sell a product, but we were giving people an alternative.
Mr. Jones and Mr. Krempler each had $3,000. Mr. Jones bought himself a $3,000 car. With his money, Mr. Krempler bought himself a new refrigerator, a new range, a new water.
The VW says, not into spending tremendous amounts of money on my transportation. I've got better things to do with it.
And a brand new Volkswagen.
This is a car for people who want a car to get them from point A to point B, period. I owned a VW Bug, a used one, in the 1970s. And the appeal in part was it was not an American car.
The VW Beetle was actually born in Germany in the 1930s, designed by Ferdinand Porsche and championed by Adolf Hitler. The Führer, an admirer of Henry Ford's, hoped to produce a people's car for every German citizen. World War II put that vision on permanent hold. But by 1969, the Beetle had distanced itself far enough from its Aryan heritage to become the love bug. It was capturing the hearts of 500,000 American car buyers a year, people who were tired of keeping up with the Joneses. Eventually, the VW Bug passed the Model T Ford to become the best-selling automobile in history. Still a world away, Japan had gotten into the act and was starting to export its first small automobiles. Derisively referred to as Yogi Bear cars around Detroit, where mini cars meant mini profits, they struck most observers as more of a joke than a threat.
First off, they were like sewing machines. They were very awkward little cars. And I thought, well, they're going to take an awful long time to catch up design-wise. But they didn't. They got on the band on it, but then they changed. They continued to change until they started to get it right.
People like me would talk till we were blue in the face to try to convince the automakers, in our case Chevrolet, that we needed, in our pipeline, we needed a very high-quality, small, and it got good gas mileage, but nobody cared.
General Motors would yawn at me and say, we don't want to make small cars. We don't know how to make money on small cars. So they made what they wanted to make. The life of a big three automotive executive is so insulated from contact with the consumer. They are driven to work by chauffeurs. They have never had to buy a car at a dealership. They have never had to wait for repairs. And what happens to imperially treated people is that they become isolated, arrogant, and imperial. It is extremely hard not to.
Published fact that if you made next year's model longer, lower, wider, and heavier than the competition, that's where the people flocked.
Still, the Motor City did take enough notice of the imports to produce a few smaller cars. One of them would achieve a special notoriety all of its own.
The Corvair delivers the goods as no other compact car can.
As is the case so often in these things, there was nothing fundamentally wrong with the Corvair. It had different handling characteristics from other American cars because it was rear-engined and therefore had a rear weight bias.
There were many one-car accidents in Corvairs. And General Motors knew this, definitely as early as 1961.
Both Bob Lutz and David Lewis were working for GM when the Corvair hit the road. Lewis attended a 1961 meeting where in-house engineering reports confirmed the car's handling problems.
I remember that one of the people at the meeting asked, well, what are we going to do about it? And the lawyers said they were not going to do anything about it.
Putting a car on the street that under certain circumstances, which were not all that very rare.
Why I spent an inordinate amount of time on the Corvair. It is because the Corvair is an inordinately dangerous vehicle.
But 1966 Senate hearings would bring the scandal of America's defect-ridden cars center stage. Unsafe at any speed, the star witness Ralph Nader called them. Blasting the Corvair as just one more example of the car maker's casual attitude when it came to their customers' lives.
Nader is tapping into a repressed knowledge. The knowledge that the car is a death machine. So it's not surprising that General Motors does whatever they can do to try to put this bad genie back in the bottle.
His marital status, his friends, his women, boys, etc. I think it's quite clear what you were doing.
During the hearings, it came out that GM had hired a private detective to tail Nader in the hopes of uncovering something that would discredit the young attorney. Our found itself under siege from all sides.
Just before noon, the symbolic burial of an internal combustion engine at Grant High School. Midpoint in a day filled with Earth Day observances.
The traffic, which just yesterday had seemed such a healthy sign of progress, was jamming the roads. And now evidence emerged that it was poisoning the air we breathe.
Would you like to sign our petition?
Outrage over the more than 3 million loved ones killed and injured on America's highways every year was gathering steam. And so was anger about the never-ending road building that was plowing under 50,000 homes a year without looking back.
Paradise put up a parking lot with a pink hotel, a boutique, and a swinging hot spot.
Even the charms of the suburbs were starting to wear thin.
Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you've got till it's gone? The paradise put up a parking lot.
must repeat yourself at least 10 times. No gas, no gas, until your inside starts to cook, until your pressure starts to go up, your blood starts to boil, and before you know it, by the time I get home, I'm yelling at my wife for no reason.
A number of people were already wondering about a way of life that tied us so completely to the car when OPEC pulled the plug on our oil supply in 1973.
If you had known what was going to happen to the price of gasoline, would you have bought the car you drive now?
I had a family, I had children, and I needed transportation, lots of room, all kinds of garbage.
But the big three went back to building big cars. They continued to ignore the inroads Japan was making here right up until the Iranian Revolution set off another oil shock.
Nobody ever called a Cadillac or a Lincoln a dinosaur until the gas crunched them. And the minute the people were lining up at the service stations and gas lines, they were lining up at our dealership for Honda Civics.
One of the miracles of the world was the Honda Civic and young women honking and waving to other young women in their Honda Civics, a real sisterhood of Civic drivers who knew that it wasn't going to fall apart on the freeway and leave them stranded. The Japanese studied the boomer generation, and they gave them entry-level cars like Alfred P. Sloan had taught them to do. They gave them the Accord when they entered their Buick Oldsmobile phase, and when it was time, they changed the definition, the very definition of what luxury meant. They gave them the Lexus and the Infiniti. Brilliant job.
Overnight, made in Japan and made in America switched places in the public eye as a mark of quality. The big three responded by rushing hastily designed compact cars into production and began running the assembly line at the fastest speed in history. The pressure cooker atmosphere did nothing to improve quality or the relationship between management and labor.
You were being pushed to put out the...
It wasn't just the car business. Everything we made and sold to each other was prone to a lot of defects. We didn't see the need for continuous improvement because we're great. We're number one. Who's to challenge us? And it was sort of that attitude. We're doing good enough. And in fact, we weren't.
America's long-suffering car buyer. First, they hit you with planned obsolescence. Then they sold you a gas guzzler. The choice is simple. Look at a Volvo, or continue to be treated like a bozo.
Pounded from all sides, there was a real possibility that two of the big three might actually go under.
I've been a free enterpriser all my life. I come here with great reluctance. I'm between the rock and the hard place. I cannot save the company without some kind of guarantee from the federal government.
Lee Iacocca had to beg Congress to keep Chrysler alive. Over at Ford, they were still reeling from the controversy over the quality of the Pinto. And in 1978, the company had to recall more cars than it produced. Philip Caldwell took over as CEO just as things hit rock bottom.
Well, when you have a hard time selling the products you're selling because they don't have quality, and you know that they don't have quality, you don't have to be told that forever. Pretty soon you get the message.
The UAW got the message that the American auto industry's very survival was at stake and made concessions in wages and benefits. But plant after plant closed anyway.
They had once told us at Willow Run that they could build anything. They said we could build front-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive, we could just build anything. And, you know, we kind of like took a great deal of pride in that. You know, we felt like, you know, well, then that put us in good stead.
But in 1992, GM made the surprise announcement that it would shut the historic Willow Run facility.
It was as if a bomb went off in the...
Willow Run, 40,000 in Flint. By the time it was all over, 250,000 assembly line workers were permanently out of a job, with nothing to vent their frustrations on but a foreign car.
What seemed to be so permanent in the 1960s.
For Dig Up Detroit, we'll see layers and layers of decline and some rebirth in the auto industry.
If the American auto industry was down and out, the city of Detroit was devastated. Everywhere you turn, there are curious mementos of the glory days. A plaque commemorating the spot where they laid the first mile of concrete road in America back in 1909. Another marking the garage where Henry Ford built his first car. In the 1930s, it was transformed into one of Detroit's most beautiful theaters. Now it's gone back to its roots, performing daily as a parking lot.
These vacant lots on both sides of the street